Hey there, Divine Masculine. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to the flow. If you are a regular, if you are new here, Karibu Sana. This is a space where we sow together, we grow together, and we move together with the sole intention of becoming the best versions of ourselves. As always, this Soulversation is intended for the general collective because truly we do have divine feminine and masculine energies within all of us, but it may resonate more with those of us who identify more as being majority or who identify more as majority divine masculine. So, Divine Feminine, if you're watching, you're very, very welcome here. So let's tap in and see what energy we have today. So as I was meditating on your energy, Divine Masculine, I got quite a lot of stuff. One of the first messages that I got for you, Divine Masculine, was that there's a lot of just contemplation going on. Contemplation and revelations coming up with regards to, first and foremost, what you regard as like work, right? So it's like you're re-evaluating like what work means to you, and trying to shift those old programs with regards to what is considered as work. You know what I mean? So for those of you, for example, who come from like strict backgrounds, where your parents are like, if you don't do law, or if you're not an engineer, you're not working. If you're an artist, you're not working. If you're a healer, you're not working. If you're into spirituality, or even if you're trying to be anything else that society doesn't deem as work, I feel like a lot of you divine masculines are re-evaluating that. I feel like you're also re-evaluating what it means to be ready for something, because a lot of us are told that when you have this, then you're going to be ready for this. So for example, just an example, most of us are told, like especially the masculines are told, when you build a house, that's when you'll be ready to get married, so as an example. And that's an absolute lie, because I know so many people who have more than one house and they have gotten married several times and they have no idea what they're doing. They're not happy. Another example is that, like, when you earn your money, when you get this much as a salary, for example, is when you're going to be ready to take on such and such, for example, right? Okay, this came out, so it wants to be a message. So that's an example. But like, how many people in this world do we know that are filthy rich and are miserable, that are filthy rich and have families, but like they don't, I don't know how to explain it. They have children, for example, but they have no time for their kids. You get what I mean? So just, I feel like the masculine is re-evaluating and thinking about all of those things. And I feel like for a lot of you, especially during this time, you may be going through some like weird coincidences where, for example, like maybe you've been trying to get a certain type of work and it's not been working and you're like, what am I doing wrong? And it's like, I don't think that there's anything that you're doing wrong. It's probably that the universe is trying to show you that your line of work is somewhere else where you feel, or where you were told, that it would not be able to provide you with the basic needs, and I feel like you've just been taking some time to just really deal with that. And I can identify with that because I have been sat down on my ass so many times with regards to the type of work that I thought would bring in the money, if that's making any sense. Mostly, especially, when you're put in a position where the matrix, so to speak, tries to instill fear in you because you don't have certain resources, and so you feel like you need to do something else in order to get the money, and it doesn't work out because you should be doing what your soul tells you to do. I feel like that's been like a really like complicated type of like thing, and that's why the masculine is having time to just like evaluate that, even with regards with relationships, whatever you've been told, like you can't be with that person because they live in a different country, or you can't be with that person because they're from a different religion, or you can't be with that person because of they're from a different race. I feel like the masculine is working through things like that, and not just that, but also their own self-beliefs and the construct of their self-beliefs. So I feel like, in short, the masculine is working through a paradigm shift, a really huge paradigm shift. Learning that things are not the way they used to be 5,000 years ago, because for a lot of us, we may be living in modern times, but it's like things are still kind of operating the way they did 5,000 years ago, and that's not how things are now. Yeah, so jumping straight into it, I feel like there may be a lot of you with these two cards coming out as the background energy. There are they're not just two messages, but a few messages that are coming through. So I'm just going to say them one by one. I feel like I've said most of them through the initial downloads that I got. So here we are with the Two of Pentacles and the Hierophant. So this is you trying to make a decision, as I said earlier, with regards to, for some of you, with regards to your work. Should you focus more towards a more spiritual type of work, or should you focus on the more, worldly type of work? I feel like that's what a lot of you are thinking about, because some of you may be successful in that end, like maybe you've made millions or whatever money you've made, you've been successful and found success in the material world, but it's not fulfilling you, like you don't feel fulfilled. And so a lot of you are trying to make the decision, like, should I transition and move into doing spiritual work, which actually gives me, and if it's not spiritual work, whatever it is, I feel like it's something that you're being led to do by God, that you feel like is your mission in life, and that's what I feel like a lot of you are juggling. Some of you are like trying it out, like though you put like one foot in the water before you jump in the swimming pool to see if it's hot or cold, that type of energy. For others of you, you're trying to make a decision with regards to relationships, like, do I want to go for the traditional relationship that my family wants me to go for, or do I want to go for a relationship that means more to me, that I feel like this is actually the direction that God is pointing me into? Like, I feel like this is the other half of me, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm feeling for a lot of you. Others of you are also really thinking about like just changing your whole entire lifestyle, because for me the Hierophant represents like status quo as well, institutions, right? And a lot of us, I mean, since birth we were all institutionalized, right? And so I feel like the masculine is like, could there be more to life? And I feel like this is a continuation to another reading that we had some time back, where I channeled that song by Stacey Orrico, There's Got to Be More to Life. So I feel like, yeah, it's just a continuation of that energy, just trying to figure out and make a choice with regards to what direction you want to move in. But I feel like your guides are helping you a lot with that, your spirit guides, Archangel Michael as well, any of the other archangels too, not just Archangel Michael. All of us have different angels that look over us. For others of you, it's just like you're learning how to bring balance, like put balance to a situation where you feel like it's been imbalanced, and where the imbalance is where I feel like you've been living life one type of way, and you feel like your justice is what I spoke about earlier, like what you feel in your heart is true, but you felt, I don't want to say the word fear, but the word fear keeps coming out, what you may have felt fearful of going for because of how society is set up, right? Yeah, that's just the main energies that I'm feeling over here. But I feel like the universe is giving you an opportunity, because this one card kept insisting that it wants to come out. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. And it's the Ace of Pentacles. So I feel like, especially, I'm doing this reading during the eclipse, the new moon, in Aries, right? And so I feel like the universe is giving you that opportunity to be bold and do what you feel like you need to do. Don't try and I feel like a lot of you, it's like you want permission. It's like you want to be given permission to go and do something. Just go and do it. The only person who you require permission from is God, and God has given you the permission. So go ahead and do what your mission is. Alrighty, so a lot of you, again, this is that same energy of like, okay, I have one foot in, I have one foot out. I'm here meditating and trying to weigh the options and see what's going on. But I feel like a lot of you are just like, you're tired of just sacrificing yourself for other people, sacrificing your happiness for other people. It's really caused you a lot of heartbreak, especially because here we are again with God Source Universe giving you the opportunity that you've always wanted, right? And you see with this Three of Swords, I feel like it's something that, yes, other people may have caused you pain, but like you let the pain happen, right? I guess it was something that both you let happen, because I feel like this is a cycle that had to happen 3 times in order for you to really sit down and be like, okay, how do we change this situation? Because I've actually had enough, because I'm seeing there's the Three of Swords crossing to the Four of Swords, which means you're in this space where you're like, okay, let me actually look at this pain. Let me actually look at all of these ways that I have been blocked or stopped and find the truth in this. What is the truth that is trying to come out about this? And the truth is that you are allowing people to stop you from being happy. Like, I wanted to make that complicated, but there was no reason for me to make it complicated. Like, that's pretty much what it was, like allowing people to stop you from being happy, and they're enjoying it. They really are, especially because they know that you're somebody who's very dutiful, and you're loyal, right? But I feel like you are starting to gain momentum. You are starting to gain the strength to defend what you believe in and go for what you want, to go for your happiness. It doesn't matter what anybody decides that they want to say. They can say whatever they want to say. They're allowed to make decisions about their own lives, but they can keep their opinions to themselves when it comes to your life. Like, that's just the point blank period thing that I'm getting right here. Yeah, generally, that's what I'm getting. I don't know why I felt the need to pause, but like maybe that's a message for you as well. Just finding the need to just like pause, which I feel like you're already doing. You're already pausing, You are choosing to stand. There is your divine masculine energy with the King of Wands, to just stand in your confidence and be like, look, this is something, here is the wand that God gave you, right? With the Ace of Wands that the universe gave you. God gave it to you. You might be in this desert energy right now. People might see like, oh, there's nothing happening for you right now. But like, yeah, things don't happen automatically. They don't. And it's a season. Like, seasons come and seasons go. But like, you are meditating and healing through all of the things that people, first of all, threw at you to try and stop you from going for what makes you happy, to try and stop you from. And look at this, how the King of Wands is like facing this wand that was being given from the universe. You see, like, this is my mission. This is what I should be doing with my life, Wow. And moving on, I genuinely feel that whatever has come up during your meditations or whatever will come up, will prove to you that this is something that you were kind of swayed away from since you were a child. Like, these are whatever it is that you're thinking about going for, is something that you were swayed away from doing when you were younger. It's a dream that you had when you were younger. You see this kind of like Ace of Pentacles, right? This page is holding the pentacle, right? But the thing is, right, here with the moon, that it was something that was like overshadowed. I feel like, like you were told like it's not a possibility, it's not possible. And I feel like this is how you're being led, because I feel like this reading is twofold. Like, for me, it boils down to when you are courageous enough to go for your life mission, your life partner then shows up, because your life partner is the person that you should be going on the mission with. You get me? And so that's why this energy of the moon is here, because you see this circular tower right here and this square tower right here. So this to me symbolizes the feminine side, so the divine feminine side and the divine masculine side, right? And here we are, right, with this energy of both of these dogs like howling at the moon. Literally, it's like your soul is calling to the other half of your soul, because you're starting to wake up to A, who you truly are, B, the knowingness that whatever you're meant to do in life is what you're meant to do in life, no matter what illusions are before you right now, you see. And that's why you have had the strength this whole time, because I'm feeling like a lot of you have just needed to take time to rest. If you notice, this reading and the divine feminine reading that I did are like 3 days apart. Like, you needed time to like rest, because you have been carrying this burden for such a long time, but it's something that you've been willing to do because you know that this is something that is meant for you. You can't stop someone that is on a path towards their mission, and when someone is on a path towards their mission, yes, things may be thrown at them, doubts may be thrown at them, whatever it is may happen and come into their pathway. But I feel like there's this song coming up by Jay-Z, Who Gonna Stop Me, and I feel like it's come out before, Jay-Z and Kanye West. It's interesting because that's from the album Watch the Throne. That's a message on its own. You might like that album itself. It may have some messages for you. But for me, what this is that you have been able to turn every obstacle and every pain and every burden that has been put on you for your good. And that's why you're super exhausted, because people keep piling things on you and making you seem like, you see, it's such a burden what you're doing. Why don't you just let it go? Why don't you just come and chill here with us, have a beer with us, do this with us, But you are learning that all of that was just deception. People were just absolutely focused on throwing you off your path. And I feel like with this eclipse energy, because if you notice, if you've been watching the divine masculine readings, there's been a culmination of, okay, I'm going to make the decision to mentally walk away from this. And then some of you have actually physically walked away from people, places, and things that don't serve you. And for the people, places, and things that don't serve you, that have absolutely refused to let go of you, the eclipse energy has started this type of like 5-5 energy, right? 5-5, with the 5-5 portal coming up in May, right? Of absolute change. Whether they want to admit it or not, things are gonna change. As I keep saying in all of my Soulversations, it can't always be night. People can't always be deceiving you all the time, and they can't always be successful at what they are doing, even though it seems like they have been successful in the past. This is the universe saying enough is enough. Like, everything that was not built on a good foundation. A lot of you might have Taurus and Scorpio as your first house, or your seventh house, or your fourth house as well. But I feel like this is like foundation energy, right? It might also be your sun sign, so take that how it resonates. But like for me, this is foundation energy. Like the universe is breaking down every sort of foundation that was not built right, whether that has come from your family, your friends, your work, whatever it is that you have been doing right that doesn't serve you is on its way out, whether it wants to admit it or not. That's what's happening. And what it's being replaced by, and what is helping you, is by you being able to come into a balanced energy with your divine feminine. So for a lot of you, you may have been learning that, you know, you have the gift of telepathy. You may have been like experiencing situations like where you're meditating and like you can hear somebody's voice in your head, and you know whose voice it is, and you're like, wow, am I going crazy? You're not going crazy. Trust me, you're not going crazy. I feel like this is you finally being able to come into balance with that version of yourself that is the feminine energy, and the feminine energy also coming into balance with her masculine energy or his masculine energy. So this, I mean, it applies so many ways. You guys know how this works. But this is about equal give and take. It's the end of deception. So whether this means that, you know, you were ghosting your divine feminine, or your divine feminine was ghosting you, whatever it is, whatever that paradigm was that, you know, was happening for you, or whether it was you neglecting being compassionate with yourself, neglecting nurturing yourself, neglecting any of the feminine aspects of yourself in order for you to, you know, just keep pushing. Let me continue being, you know, that masculine energy. Let me continue being that masculine energy. So I feel like that's why I spoke about the learning of what your, you know, passion is and what your work is. I feel like you are, a switch has been flipped. That's basically what I want to say. A switch has been flipped. So divine masculine, I want to thank you so much for tuning in for this Soulversation. If you want to check out any of our love offerings, you can do so in the description box down below. Until next time, namaste.